Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviram Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. विश्वतश्चक्षुः विश्वतो मुखः विश्वतो बाहुः उत विश्वतस्पात् संबाहुभ्यां धमति जनयन् द्यावा भूमिः एको देवः. Correct? Okay, let me see if it is correct. I don't know which page. What did I not? Oh, yeah, I forgot the bellows. Okay, yeah. Sambahubhyam dhamati sampatatraihi dyava bhumi janayan deva ekaha. So no, I know this, but I don't know where it is here. Let us try to find it here. Pranam Prapidya, no, that is chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 3, 4. Okay, 3, 3. Alright, so this is what? And where is Sheila? Not coming?
Daughter is coming.
Ah, daughter is there. Okay. Yeah. So some dhamati, some cannot hang out for a cup of tea on its own. Some dhamati in the sense of blows or brings forth forcefully, like even the air going through the bellows. And bahubhyam, we left on a cliffhanger. What was that? Why two hands? You know, first to show Bhagavan's two hands are not like this, this local fellow's two hands. Two hands means the whole Sarva Shaktimatvam is given here. Two hands of Bhagavan is equal to all the hands of the universe. That was already said. Vishwato Bahuhu. The one who, every hand is his hand. So sam bahubhyam dhamati means that the one who is in, who creates, one alternative meaning is given, who creates in keeping with the karma of the jivas. That's why two things. The creation is not just a mind child of Bhagavan, but there is a method to the creation, and the method is what? In keeping with the jiva's own karma. So one bahu, Bhagavan, another bahu, the karmic load of the jivas. Karmic load is like viral load. So when the virus in the body overtakes, what do you have to do? Go to the doctor. So like this, here, when the virus of jiva karmas overtakes, what happens? Samsara roga, jagat comes into being. And then everyone starts to feel feverish, because that fever of alienation, fever of separation, fever of all kinds of problems start to take place. And so some dhamati, and then what? How many devas? Many devas. Vishwato bahuhu, Vishwatash chakshuhu, Vishwato mukhaha, Vishwatash path. No. Eka. And this eko devaha is a refrain. Every Upanishad has a chorus. What is the chorus of the Kathopanishad? So mrityu pashat patati, again and again it comes, So mrityu pashaihi, through the noose of death, this fellow is taken by the noose of death, and then what? Vasham, everything comes and they deliver themselves unto me. Death keeps saying in many ways. That's the refrain there. Here, if there is a refrain, it is eko devaha, and here it is made into a separate thing. Devaha ekaha, eko devaha. That one Bhagavan takes everything, makes this whole universe, blows life into it, like so to speak, and then is in the form. We have seen this in detail, and the Sampatatraihi also means through the laws, through the existing laws, Bhagavan, that Ishvara Tattva. Tattva means what? that Atma Tattva, that Atma, in the form of the Atma, inspires all the jivas. Sampatatraihi, like the bellows, inspire the fire to keep going. Similarly, this Bhagavan, this Ishvara Tattva, is the fire that keeps all the jivas, burning, keeps the fire of jivas motivation burning, So that is the thing, and to do their respective actions in keeping with the karmas, in keeping with the vasanas, in keeping with their desires, in keeping with all the things, So it's like kindling the sense organs. When the fire, the wind, what does it do? It kindles the fire. Here, what is the fire? Any knowing faculty is the fire, because it's light. It lights up. So what really lights up? The bellows light up the sense organs to do their jobs. Very beautiful. The bellows light up the sense organs, and the bellows in the form of the Bhagavan's, what a lovely metaphor for Bhagavan, sending that inspiration in the form of that Atma Tattva, goading and guiding every individual, sitting being the indweller of their heart, making them do everything. So beautiful. And so lights up the senses, lights up the buddhi. Yeah, that is very important, because if the buddhi does not fire, we are in great trouble. Yeah, that's why when you say, at the beginning of the puja, Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum, the action associated with that, Om Shuklam Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnan Chaturbhujam. I always wonder, when I was small, I used to wonder why they do that. This is to massage the brain cells. Without the brain cells, it's going to be brain hell. So therefore, to convert it from brain hell to brain cell, you have to do some massage, and you have to invoke Lord Ganapati, Mahaganapati, right here in the form of the grey matter, please help me with this. And so this one Deva, lights up all the organs of, the organs of action also are lit up. Because for the hand to move and grab something, and you have to duck when something comes, a big rock is coming, an asteroid comes. And there is a reflex. It's almost like if you really wanted to use free will at that time, then you will be flat. Chapati under the rock. Yeah. You can't use free will. It's a reflex. You can't sit and think. Do you think, what am I going tomorrow? What have I, going on tomorrow? Well, not much. So I can spend a few days in the hospital. So it's okay if the rock hits. So maybe I shouldn't move. After all, I have been studying in the Bhagavad Gita that I should take things as they come. And this is coming, and maybe I should just stay here. You don't have the time. You don't even go there. The reflex is to just get out of the way. Whether it's a big rock or a rock-like individual, very mad and approaching you. Especially if you have, ruined something that they love, like their computer, like their house, like they spent all their money. The best thing to do is shimmy out of there, to push out of there. There is no time to think, Somebody is coming at you, you just, and this is the bellows of Bhagavan that blow you out of that situation. Really. It's not really even that I notion doesn't have the time to kick in. A primal, survival mechanism, those are the reflexes in the buddhi that further empower the hands and legs to act. Somebody is coming to hit, you go like this, and you go like that, you protect the body, and you run, and you play dead, when something comes. Which animal you have to play dead?
Awesome.
No, bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right.
When approached by bear, yeah, you play dead. This is just a story. We don't know, And then it supposedly makes one pradakshina, sniffs around, and then goes away because it doesn't, it's not into dead things, and it goes away. Yeah. And you know, it's the opposite. When a vulture is circling, you play alive. You don't, that's not the time you think the same thing will go for everything. Oh, I was told to play dead, now I will play dead. That is what it's waiting for. Yeah, when hawk, vulture, you know, Garuda is circling, means you play alive. Even if you are dead, come back, you know, and this is the time to come back. Even if one is dead, this is the time to occupy the bhagwan again and to ward this fellow off. But if the bear comes, you play dead. And how do you know the difference? The bellows in the buddhi, Bhagavan inspiring the buddhi to make you do the correct thing at the correct time. Sampatatraihi bahubhyam dhamati, samdhamati. Dyava bhumi janayan deva ekah, not dyav and bhuvi, bhumi alone. What is janayan is all these sense organs, you know. Janayati gives birth to all these sense organs, and they act in the appropriate way at the appropriate time. And the combination of the sthula and the sukshma, it's so infallibly calibrated. It is just fantastic, just fantastic. Perfect. It's just perfect. And then this one Bhagavan does all this so that the bellows fan the flame and send it through the various tubes to heat the water. In the olden days, that's how the water was heated. Even now in Anikatti, that's how it is heated. You fan the flame and then it heats this big drum, iron drum, cauldron. So it heats this up, and then, you know, and then the water, you know, goes. This is how it is. So the water is heated up, and then the steam is used then for other mechanisms, you know. This is how it is. So Bhagavan here, the one who has all the original steam of the bellows, inspires by really not acting at all. Even though bahubhyam sandhamati, it's not that Bhagavan is giving CPR to this jiva all the time. Come on, wake up, time to get up, come on, move, don't be a dullard. No, it's just that the sense organs fall in place and do their jobs, inspired by whom? That is known as Bhagavan. I think people cannot hear. One. Yeah, that's okay. I just noticed because people are logging out. So anyway, so this is why, yeah, so this is what the whole thing is. And that, you know, so bahubhyam samdhamati, and bahubhyam, two bahus are mentioned because it's always in keeping with the law of dharma, karma. That is what it is. Whose karma? Bhagavan's karma, correct? No, Jiva's karma. Just checking. Yeah. So then next one. Very nice one. Yo devanam prabhavaschodbhavascha.
Yo devanam prabhavaschodbhavascha.
Vishwadhipo rudro maharshihi.
Vishwadhipo rudro maharshihi.
Hiranyagarbham janayamasa purvam.
Hiranyagarbham janayamasa purvam.
Sano buddhya shubhaya sanyunaktu.
Sano buddhya shubhaya samyunaktu.
And if the bellows have worked from the last mantra, this should sound a little familiar. Does this sound familiar?
It does.
What does it sound like?
Like Kaivalya Upanishad.
Huh?
Like the Kaivalya Upanishad.
Like the Kaivalya Upanishad?
Yo deva.
Yeah, exactly. Yo devanam prathamas sambabhuva. No, I'm getting confused between the tunes, but there is one this thing. Yo devanam prathamam vishwadhiyo rudro maharshihi hiranyagarbham pashyata jayamadagam sano shubhaya smritya over there samyunaktu. Same thing. Veda is like that. There are a number of similarities in the mantras. And this is a very beautiful mantra. So, yo devanam prabhavascha udbhavascha. You know, devanam means of the celestials even. Two meanings of deva, of the sense organs. The Jyotanatmakatvat, that those that shines, but it also means celestials. Here better take it as the celestials, because we are not talking of manifold devas, we are talking of how many? Ekaha, it was pointed out earlier. So the one that has created everything, created means what? Manifest everything, brought everything into manifestation. And what has this Bhagavan manifested? Even the celestials. Who are these celestials? That take care of fanning the fire in so many ways. The Adhishthana Devatas, the Devatas of heaven, the Devatas of, that say Tathastu. That's why one has to keep thinking nice thoughts. There are Astu Devatas, invisible Devatas, who only know one word. Notice that? Yes. Tathastu. So be it. Yes. So be it. That's all they keep saying. I am good for nothing. Tathastu. I am an idiot. Tathastu. I am a boring person. Tathastu. Nobody loves me. Tathastu. Nobody is there for me. Tathastu. I am alienated and unconnected and disconnected. Tathastu. That's why we don't, we don't say that at all. So, Devanam, Devanam Udbhavascha Prabhavascha Devanam Karta, who is the author of the Udbhava and the Prabhava of all the celestials. Celestials here doesn't mean just the celestials. Starting with the celestials, ending with the other devas, what? The sense organs, the whole universe. So Prabhava is Udbhava. Bhava means being. The devas are non-separate from Ishvara. Ishvara is separate from the devas. So Prabhava, Udbhava, both of the roots is Bhu only. Bhu plus Ghanj. Bhavaha, and Bhavaha, that is Ghanj. Bhavaha also some kind of a masculine noun. So masculine pratyaya will be there. And so Bhu with a masculine noun formation is called Bhavaha. Bhavaha means to bring forth the being, the creation, the manifestation, Bhavaha. So Ut means bringing forth out of something. Pra, without a mistake. So what does this, why two times Bhavaha, Bhavaha? One, Prabhavaha, Nimitta Karanam, Udbhavaha, Upadana Karanam. And how many person is the creator? Yaha. So that one is Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam of the entire Jagat. Abhinna means in the same person is the cause and the material. From the standpoint of the material, the same being is known as Shakti. From the standpoint of the knowledge that works with the material, in tandem with the material to manifest everything flawlessly, that Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, all those Shaktis together are what? Together they work along with the power. That power is called Shakti, and the power and the knowledge, neither is great, neither is better, neither is inferior, neither is superior. And in fact, one is incomplete without the other. Without one, there is no Ishvara, really. Without power, what Ishvara? It's like a local jiva who keeps feeling powerless. Without Shakti, there is no Ishvara. And how can there be Shakti without, knowledge? There is no Shakti. Shakti without knowledge is just a destructive force. It's just a force, an inert force. So really speaking, force cannot be inert. It always rests in a conscious being. Shakti means it has to rest somewhere. It has to rest in a conscious being. So the being from the standpoint of the knowledge is called, Bhagavan from the standpoint of the Shakti, including the knowledge Shakti. Knowledge itself is a Shakti, is called Bhagavati. Same thing. So this Bhagavati, because creative prowess is there. And so this is what is called for here. Yo Devanam Prabhavascha Udbhavascha. What is that? Devanam Prabhavascha Udbhavascha Karta. We have to add that, yeah. Prabhavascha Karta. Yo devanam prabhavaha means it prabhavaha is used in the kartari sense. So you either say prabhavasya udbhavasyascha karta, or use yaha and prabhavaha are used in the sense of kartari agent. Agent of what? Prabhaving and udbhaving. Yeah, and what is prabhaving? Prabhaving is the knowledge, and then the udbhava is the material. So in that single conscious being, the who is the creator, who is both the masculine and the feminine force, with all knowledge of creation and all material and the know-how and the shakti for the power as well, the undifferentiated shakti and power resting in one conscious being, that is called yaha. So yaha and prabhavaha, udbhavaha, since there is no other verb there, is what? Is seen in apposition, samanadhikaranyam. And then it's a string of nouns. Who is this? You know, udbhava and prabhava. Vishwadhipaha, Vishwasya adhipati. Vishwa is what? The whole universe, including the waker. Yeah, that is Virat, but Vishwa here. So, adhipati, the overlord. Adhipati means there is no overlord for whom? The final rule maker, the final law stops there. The last court of appeal, not just Supreme Court, absolute court. Why? Absolutely. That's why one quotes Bhagavan, because final court, final legislator, final judiciary, final executor also. All departments are Bhagavan. Just has a few lackeys. Some jivas who wanted to be famous celestials, got inducted to do the job. That's what it is. They have all honorific titles, and then they are sitting there like Yama, in charge of the clearing house of jivas, Chitragupta, accountant, and then what? Indra keeps email lists, So, and like this, we have a whole lot of things, division of labor. And what does this one? Annapurna keeps the kitchen, is the presiding goddess of all pots, no matter what size, from a 1 cup to 1,000 people cooking pot. Annapurneshwari presides over the pots, and she is shown also having a ladle in hand, not to beat the jiva up, but she is a goddess of plenty, abundance. Like this, all these slew of devatas, and some of these devatas are just a manifestation of Bhagavan, while others are exalted jivas who have signed up to do the work, like Indra, Yama, etc. But Annapurna, Parvati and all are just manifestations of this Bhagavan alone. All are manifestation, but some are exalted jivas. And so this whole retinue, Devanam Prabhavaha, Devanam Udbhavaha. So even the one who is the cause of the devas. Here we look at the devas in awe. Oh, they can do all these things. Oh, Yama can come and get me. I can't get him. Yes, but Yama also has one boss. Yes. Yama has got a hotline to this Bhagavan. And Yama is going somewhere because he is a rule follower, Yama. He just has his daily, and this thing list comes by email. He prints it out and goes. Okay, check. Roadkill. Okay, check. Next one, something else. Check. Third one, all right, slipped and fell. Check. Fourth one, choked. Check. And fifth one he's about to get in that particular manner, which is whatever. And he gets a call on this, unidentified phone, on this unidentified private number. He gets a call. Oh, Bho, he will not say oh. Bho Bhagavan, Yes, leave that person. But Bhagavan, it says, he's number 5. Leave that person. Okay. For a few more years, that's all. Everything is relative. Yeah, leave, come back day after tomorrow, has prayed that wants to attend the final birthday party. So, come back in 3 days and take. Okay. For Yama, it's no pressure. Has a tea break instead, and then, and then goes. So, like this, the one who is in charge of everything. And who is that? Vishvasya Adhipaha. The reign, the one who is reigning over the entire universe without someone, calling him. No one oversees. He oversees everything. And this is Rudra. We already saw Rudra. The one who cries? No. Oh. One who makes one cry because of karma phala and then gives hanky. Gives a nice clean tissue, Kleenex. Yeah, Devex. Here Rudrex. Here you please take. Don't worry. It'll all be alright. This is Rudra. And who is this Rudra? Maharshi. Mahan cha asau rishishcha Maharshihi. Maha plus Rishi. There is a sandhi. That's why the R becomes Ar. The sound itself changes from a vowel. It becomes a consonant. Maharshi. Why she? Why not he? Why not Maharhi? Unfortunately, when you think of Rishi, what do you think of? Rishi means what?
The seer.
No, say it's seer, but what even? Mental image. Lots of hair, beard. And hair here, and hair, big, long beard. Rishi means that. You ask an Indian child to draw Rishi, they will draw it with a beard. Yeah, that's why Sanskrit language, out of sense of gender equity, put Maharshi. Because Rishis can be she also. And what is Rishi? Rishi doesn't mean a sage. Yeah. Rishi also doesn't mean age. Rishi means seer. That's the one who sees everything. Is Maharshi. This is Bhagavan's name. Bhagavan, who is the seer of everything, the overseer of everything, and sees what the jiva is capable of, and sees what is going to happen in the future, sees the past, sees of course the present, and knows what is the correct thing for each jiva, who knows the horoscopes of everyone, who puts the R in the word horoscopes. That is the one, Rudra, Vishwadhipaha, Rudraha, and then Maharshihi. It's a string of nouns qualifying the, singing, lauding, praising the from various standpoints, the glories of Bhagavan. Singing the praise of Bhagavan. It's a prayer. This mantra, 3-4 is a prayer. Chapter 3, verse 4 is a prayer. And we are invoking this Rudra, who is the Lord of all, who is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. What is Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam? The material and the maker, the non-separate maker and material, that single consciousness which has pervaded and populated the entire universe in the form of by taking on various names and forms without undergoing any change whatsoever. This is what is called, Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanatvam. Prabhava, knowledge, Udbhava, material, both together. And how many? One Deva, we already saw that. And who is this Deva? Don't think that, it is a segue from the last mantra. Don't think this Deva is the same as all the celestial Devatas. So therefore this verse begins with Devanam api Karta. the one who is the cause of all the celestials. So that Deva was different. And so in fact that Deva you can say is the light of the Atma, the Atma Tattva, who comes in the form of the sense organs and everything. That last one is a Mahavakya. And continuing with that, this Bhagavan, this Deva, who is the truth of the sense organs, who is the truth of the indweller in this body mind sense complex that I call by the name I, without knowing the real I. And this indweller, the real I, is Bhagavan, this Deva, who who propels the sense organs to fall in place and do those devas to fall in place. This Ekaha Devaha, this one and sole luminary, who is also the creator in the manifesting world of all the chota chota devas, the small devas, Rudro Maharshihi, and there Hiranyagarbham Pashyata Jayamanagam Sano Devas Shubhaya Smritya Samyunaktu. And here, what is that? Yeah, same thing. Hiranyagarbham Janayamasa Purvam. That same Ishvara from the standpoint of the manifesting potential. And that manifesting potential, whether it's an idea in the head or whether it's the idea of the whole universe. The universe rests in Ishvara as an idea. And that resting Ishvara without the thought of the universe is just plain old Ishvara. The resting Ishvara with the thought of the universe, from the standpoint of the resting Ishvara with the potential thought of the universe, even the uncreated universe, is called Hiranyagarbha. Don't say golden goose, golden egg. We don't like such translations. We have already made it very clear. You can say, but then don't say who you learnt it from. Yeah, Yes. If you are in the Arsha Vidya tradition, you will not translate it golden egg, golden goose, etc. Hiranyagarbha is, what is Hiranyagarbha? That light of consciousness. And what is this light of consciousness? That light alone which pervades the entire universe, and as it were, and takes on many forms, that single consciousness, single non-dual consciousness, which is called Garbha because it is still in the nascent stage. Garbha means womb. It is Hiranya because it is like molten gold. What else to compare it to? There is no comparison. It's that nascent idea of creation. So Hiranyagarbham, Jayamana, Janayamasa. Janayamasa means the one who is, Purvam, the one who is the origin even of this Hiranyagarbha. The originator, Hiranyagarbha, is Ishvara. Ishvara is more than Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is Ishvara from a standpoint because that Ishvara that has blessed this potential to create, and along with the potential to create has to originate the creator. The potential universe needs a potential creator, and the potential creator vis-a-vis the potential universe is called Hiranyagarbha. Things have not come into being yet, and Hiranyagarbha looks and says, and everything comes, So the one who was Purvam Janayamasa means the one who was the originator of this Hiranyagarbha. Purvam means the one who was there pre-existing before Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is a status. Like sleeper is a status. And before sleep and awake, there is that half waking. That's a dreamer status. Then when you're almost awake, that lucid, the lucid awareness, that is Hiranyagarbha. Sometimes certain planning takes place, some lucid dreaming takes place. One sees things, but of course one sees it along with a healthy or unhealthy dose of ragadvesha. So most of the time you have to check it all out. But very, very rarely, very occasionally, there might be some insights that come in that half, almost waking stage, that lucid dreaming it is called. Neither awake, ubhayaptaf prajna, neither awake nor sleeping, in between. not dreaming, not sleeping, not dreaming, not awake. That Ubhayatah Prajna, where the consciousness is spanning the sleep and the waking states. 1 foot consciousness has in the sleeping state and 1 foot in the waking stage. This is Hiranyagarbha. So who made this idea come at that time if it came? Bhagavan, Purvam Hiranyagarbham api janayamasa. Janayamasa. This is the, Paroksha Bhut, very far away, remote past tense, means long ago, even before creation, even before creating the creator. What is creating the creator? That Atma Tattva alone creates. And how does it create? First it wears a crown and then sits on the throne and calls itself, the creator. So that status of the creator, who gives that status of the creator? Who allows this? That consciousness called Deva in the last verse alone. That shining Atma principle, that Atma Tattva, that Atma alone, that all-knowing shining being, which is myself, and that alone is the one who pre-existed Hiranyagarbha. And not many people can say, have the distinction of pre-existing Hiranyagarbha, because that was the Hiranyagarbha has got another title, firstborn. That was the firstborn. But who gave birth to this Hiranyagarbha? If it is the firstborn, who is the daddy of Hiranyagarbha? Who is the mummy of Hiranyagarbha? Vishwadhipo Rudro Maharshihi. Hiranyagarbham api janayamasa. When? Purvam. Long ago, long ago. Once upon a time, Purvam here, Janayam Asa, Babhuva, all these words, Asa, Babhuva, that's the Sanskrit way of saying once upon a time. This is like the cosmic story, the story of the cosmology is being told, and in the form of a prayer. So you have that, otherwise there is no time. What time? It's only timeless. So here what? So the story is being told, Hiranyagarbham api janayamasa purvam, long ago. This was, even Hiranyagarbha was born. Hiranyagarbha was born how? Gave support or sustenance to, sustain the idea of Hiranyagarbha. That's the idea. Sustain the idea of Hiranyagarbha and sustain the status of Hiranyagarbha. Purvam, long ago, once upon a time, Janayamasa. All right, why are we laying on the praise heavily? Yaha, all these things, Yaha, who is this Yaha? The one who what? Devanam Prabhavaha, Devanam Udbhavascha, Yaha, Rudradhipaha, Vishwadhipaha, Rudraha, Maharshihi, Yaha, Hiranyagarbham, Purvam, Janayamasa. Finally the verb came. Janayamasa. Purvam, Saha, that one. The one who is Evam, Gunaihi, Vishishtam, as it were. The one who has the claim to this kind of fame. What kind of fame? The one who enjoys the attributes of not having any attributes. The one who enjoys the attribute of being a, overseer of all seers. Maharshi. The one who enjoys the attribute of Rudra. The one who has the one who is from the standpoint of the giver of the law of karma. So with Bhagavan we can say attributes. Atma Tattva has no attributes. So here we are talking of Bhagavan. All knowledge, all ability to create, ability to take back. These are the dharmas we are talking of from the standpoint of the one, the conscious being who is equipped with an upadhi. These are the qualities of this upadhi. Bhagavan's upadhi from the standpoint of all knower is called seer, Maharshihi. Bhagavan's upadhi from the standpoint of the creative potential, and even the one who gave the birth to the creative potential is called the creator of Hiranyagarbha. From the standpoint of the creative potential, it's called, what is it called? It is called Hiranyagarbha. And then from the standpoint of the celestial beings who are in charge of various portfolios, the creator of that upadhi which created even that what is this upadhi? Not a whiff of ignorance, all knowledge, all pervasive, mega upadhi which spans the galaxies, which is in the form of the whole universe. So every upadhi is Bhagavan's upadhi, and Bhagavan is what? Beyond all upadhis. That is the upadhi. And so this, from the standpoint of all this, so evam, evam vishishtah, so thus equipped, thus enveloped, with these kinds of attributes, and we are praising these attributes, saha eva, saha naha, to us, naha shubhaya buddhya sanyunaktu. May this person, may this Bhagavan, give very plain translation, may this Bhagavan unite us with a good buddhi. Shubhaya buddhya samyunaktu. And Shubhaya means auspicious. Buddhi is the only medium of knowing Bhagavan. Since it's the only medium, and since we don't have two of those, it has to be kept in good order, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If it starts to split into two, quickly you have to take some super glue in the form of some prayers and stick the portions that are falling apart together. If it's a split, it has to be stuck together quickly. Otherwise, all kinds of nonsense will fall through the cracks in that split. And if it's falling apart, quickly it has to be resurrected. How many buddhis is everyone given? Only one. Yes. And this buddhi needs a lot of love, attention, care and prayers. And as soon as something start to happen to the buddhi, immediately it has to be attended to. Because, it's the only way of getting yukti. Yukti is, oneness. Sanyunaktu. From yuj again. And this is what it is. Yunaktu, yuj. To join. So the buddhi is the place where all joining of the schisms in the universe, the so-called schisms of samsara, get joined in the buddhi. You learn to override everything right there. And if that starts to show splits, or if starts to split, run away from the vidya, it has to be what? Yeah, it has to get CPR, it has to be hospitalized. Meaning, take it to a temple. Temple is Buddhi's hospital. And, stay there for some time. Hospital stay. It needs IV, prasada, tirtham, some chants it needs to hear. So the buddhi needs to be exorcised of ragadveshas. And that is what it is. This is a long discussion. So I'm going to save it for next week. How to keep the buddhi in ship shape so that this prayer is useful. We will discuss all that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat
Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om. Shakti is the animating force, rise of Shakti. Shakti means power. Yeah, you can say animating force. Yeah. Connection. Hiranyagarbha is the Shakti of Bhagavan. Same thing. No difference. Yeah.